That's actually a long story. But I was born in the Congo, and we moved several times after the revolution. We lived in Rhodesia for 4 years, and then eventually moved to South Africa. So that was when I was about 16. So I did my schooling in South Africa, my university in South Africa, and that's where I met my husband. And then we came to the United States with 3 children in 1982. Well, we were looking for a place to settle when we were thinking of immigrating, and we looked at several places, looked at weather similarities to South Africa, so that wouldn't be terrible difference, as well as other South African people living in the area, and this fit the bill, basically. Become an artist. I guess one has art in you, and when it comes out is actually the issue. I would say it came out pretty late in my life. I was put in a position, well, I've always drawn or painted or done my own self-expression, but nothing formally taught. And then I was given the opportunity to teach at Solomon Schechter, which is now Levine Academy, because the teacher had taken ill and was on bed rest. So I was substituting, and I just fell in love with children's art and working with children. And 18 years later, finally I left. And so I spent a lot of my own artistic development because of my involvement with teaching in a school with elementary and middle school students. I have a very varied artistic style, but I would say that I'm more expressionistic, bordering realism to expressionistic. So I take realism as my jumping point, and then I go on a more expressionistic way, with color and with just the way I combine my media. I sometimes use mixed media for something that started off as a realistic painting. But, I'm always evolving, and one of my newest directions has been plein air painting. Plein air is painting outside and painting in nature, and the inspiration is nature. And it's very hard to be abstract or to be expressionistic with plein air, but I'd start there, and then sometimes it becomes expressionistic. It depends where it takes me. My primary medium is oil. I love oil painting. I'm very comfortable with it. Even when I paint outdoors, I use oil. But again, as I said before, I do sometimes use mixed media. I do collage with my oils. So I mix the two things. But my primary, I mean, to cut it short, basically, my primary medium is oils. Although I've done sculptures and I've done other medias and other artwork. Artistic process, interesting. It's just one thing leads to another. I'm inspired by things that I see, by things that are said, by situational incidents, reading, definitely reading. I'm inspired by the world around me, people. I love faces, so sometimes I go in that direction and do people. But basically just inspired by the world around me, and then I go and express it on my canvas. It's as simple as that, but it's not so simple. definitely Judaism and Jewish culture has been a very large influence on my work. Other than what I told you I do, I also do ketubas. So ketubas are, I make them and I sell them, and that's something that's been going on for about 20 years. So I've made a lot of ketubas in my life, and my ketubas are inspired by, many times, by delving into Jewish texts, Song of Songs or whatever. I get inspired sometimes by just sitting in synagogue and listening to the sermons. When a rabbi will say something, and all of a sudden I see it in a painting. And so that's one part of my Judaic work. Another very big part of my Judaic work is Holocaust inspired. I have a long history of Holocaust family history. And so I take that very much to heart. I'm involved in the Holocaust Museum, but I have done a whole body of work called The Color of Memory, together with another artist, Julie Mittal-Berman. We put together this show called The Color of Memory, which is literally our memories transcribed into color and into paintings, how we've expressed our family's experiences through painting. And that's something that that was shown several times in Dallas and in other places. It's been to Austin, and it's a traveling exhibition. It's also something that is a traveling exhibition for the Dallas Holocaust Museum. So people who go onto their website can see it and can request to have it travel. So that's one of the things. That was started and finished maybe 15 years ago, but I have found myself going back to Holocaust painting. I am doing a new body of work now that is text-based. So texts like Prima Levi or Elie Wiesel or Simon Wiesenthal, who talk about their experiences in the Holocaust. I take those texts and I use it. Yeah, I put it into my paintings. I literally transcribe the text onto the paintings, onto the oil paintings. I use other media to bring the words in. And so that's a big part of what I do. Just generally, Judaic work is a very big part of my work in different ways. You know, sometimes it's, you know, conscientious, and other times it's not. It's just something that's there, and that's always part of me. As you can see, my colors, I think I'm very, I'm not shy with colors. I explore, I take chances. I do go really bright, although when you start painting plein air, that tones down your colors a little bit. And I go with that too. So color is very important for me, yeah. Well, the one piece is right behind me, the triptych, which is called Simsum. And I don't know if you can see it, but, and you probably have better images of it. But Simsum is based on the concept that when God created the earth, he decided to shatter it in a million pieces. And we are the million pieces, a zillion pieces. We human beings are put on this earth to put it together again, to repair the world. So that's the concept of Simsum. And I express it in a very abstract way. It's something that I do delve a lot in abstract, but I wouldn't call myself an abstract artist, but that is an abstract piece. I think the other pieces that I have entered into the exhibition are plein air paintings, which is, as I said, another love of mine. I just want people to see the artwork, to hear the message of whatever I'm saying, especially when it comes to Judaic work. I want that to come through. I want the message of Judaism to come through the work. Obviously, plein air is not something that has a message, although when you think about plein air, it's God's creation. So I do want the viewer to always feel that beauty and to feel that connection with God when they look at my work.